Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
And we serve as the voice to the so-called Black community.
Again, we got Dr. Candace Matthews.
A lot of these documents, looking at.
We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media.
This country is supposed to be about the land of the free for all. It has not been free for Black people, and we are tired.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
A journalist is exposing a UK-based NGO for allegedly trying to pay him for a smear campaign. According to African Stream reports, a UK-based NGO recently approached a Nigerian journalist, David, to commission a $500 article about the climate impacts of the Nigerian-based Dangote Refinery. Inaugurated in May, Africa's largest refinery reportedly has the potential to turn 650,000 barrels of crude oil per day into sellable oil to export around the world. Watch the interview the journalist gave. We'll come back and discuss.
First of all, I should mention that it's a pretty common thing for a journalist to be reached out to by people from NGOs or from commissioning editors in international media wanting to commission one article or one piece or the other. It's a fairly common thing. So when someone reached out to me via DM on my Twitter, asking if I'd be open to writing something about Dangote Refinery, it shouldn't necessarily have been much of a big deal, but it was just something about the way it was worded that struck me as odd, because there was this sort of implied secrecy. It didn't really take much to put two and two together that these are the usual actors from the global north who have a vested interest in maintaining the world's economic status quo, who are then using the language of environmental concerns and green energy and things which on the surface appear to be good things that are aimed at making the world a better place, but have been co-opted right from the start to be used as part of this age-old economic war against Africa and the global south. I could see that very clearly.
Climate change is being weaponized against Africa, and we're seeing it by their meetings, how they're throwing money to this government to stop any kind of exploration, anything that will help the situation of Africans. Like, if you don't explore those natural resources, you're not going to get them, you're not going to refine them, you're not going to sell them, you're not going to use them, hence you will stay where you are at. So a lot of African countries are staying in poverty because of this climate change conversation. They are weaponizing it, even though they contribute to the climate change more than Africa as a whole. All countries coming together will not contribute as much as they have contributed. Their footprint is larger than us, but when it comes to exploration and refining our natural resources, that's where they draw the line. Even though they've done it for years, they contributed to this situation more than anyone, right? But when Africa is trying to thrive, is trying to do its own thing, they try to shut it down. This is a great example of how they do it. There's tactics to it. They're not gonna come and attack you straightforward. So what they'll do is pay, like this journalist. Thankfully, he had integrity and he said no to their request, but they'll pay people, one of us, to run an ad or a campaign or a report that, just smear that company or that country. In this specific case, it's Dangote Refinery. Now it all makes sense why there was such a huge issue when Dangote, Aliko Dangote is the richest black man in the world. We've talked about him here on this channel before. So he decided to open a refinery, right, to refine the crude oil that Nigeria has been blessed with. So when he decided to do this, we heard so much backlash, like there was a pushback coming from even the officials, like the leaders of Nigeria. There was so much back and forth to the point where Dangote said, I give up. you can buy this refinery from me and I'll just leave this industry. I remember him even saying that the oil industry is worse than the mafia industry or something, like something crazy. I think he called them the mafia industry. I forgot, it was a while back, but there was a lot of issue. Now it makes sense. Like there was someone stirring the pot. These Westerners, these organizations, foreign organizations were trying to start this mess because they're going to lose out money, not because they care about climate change, by the way. It's because they themselves benefit from refining, and Dangote opening this huge refinery is going to bankrupt them. They're gonna go broke. So they want to shut it down, and they're working on behalf of, you know, their countrymen or their pals, and they want to shut it down. And this, by the way, imagine it in a bigger scale. It's going to impact the economy of Nigeria. Like their refinery could help so many Nigerians as well as Africans, but then they want to stop it for selfish reasons. But I'm glad this journalist came out and exposed these bad players. Anyways, fam, let us know down below what your thoughts are about the refinery in Nigeria and all this smear campaign allegedly these huge companies are investing in to shut it down. I am Wongel Zelalem.